does it look like to make our entire lives a prayer? I was thinking back recently on my grandmother, who passed away several years ago, but I was very close with her, and towards the end of her life, she struggled greatly with dementia. I remember that was a really difficult time for all of us as we watched her struggle with that. Unfortunately, probably many of you have witnessed somebody sort of decline with dementia. There's this process where you forget everyday tasks, you forget family members, you forget even sometimes how to eat, very simple things like that. And as we were watching this, I remember being struck by the types of things my grandma would say. And towards the very end, I remember this very clearly, she would talk only using phrases of the Hail Mary. And it's because the rosary was such an important part of my grandma's life. She would pray it every day, she prayed it all the time actually. And so at the end of her life, there were times where she would answer questions with parts of the Hail Mary. And so I would say like, Grandma, are you hungry? And she'd say, blessed are thou among women. And I'd say, okay, Grandma, do you want to sit outside for a little bit? And she'd say, the Lord is with thee. I'm like, well, that's good, but didn't really answer the question, right? But that's beautiful in a way, because that's what she had. That's what she had in her mind that was so embedded that she was probably trying to say something else, but that's what she knew so well. I was thinking of this in a different way as well. I had another friend who, whenever a topic of conversation would come up that was inappropriate, maybe there was a tendency to gossip, or there was an inappropriate joke being made or something like that, she would just say, create in me a clean heart, O God, from the Psalms. And not only was that kind of an odd thing to say, and so it sort of stopped people in their tracks, but it was a prayer that was real and effective in the moment. It wasn't just an odd little gimmick, it was something that she was actually praying. She was saying, create in me a clean heart, O God, renew within me a steadfast spirit. Because sometimes even the ways that we talk to one another can lead us into different habits and different rabbit holes that we can fall down in our lives. And so a little prayer in that moment can go a long way. I remember hearing a different story when I was in high school where people were recommending that if you were struggling with a different person, maybe you were struggling with, you would see somebody and you had a tendency to lust there, or maybe you were just struggling with the person on a personality level, like you guys just did not mesh very well. There was this prayer that's also from the Psalms that says, how lovely is your dwelling place, Lord God Almighty, or Lord of hosts. How lovely is your dwelling place, O Lord. I think if we could start to incorporate little prayers like this in our lives, if we can start to say, when there's somebody that we're maybe challenged by, to say, how lovely is your dwelling place, O Lord. Or maybe we find that conversation comes up and we're finding it challenging to resist different forms of temptation. To remind ourselves and to pray to the Lord, create within me a clean heart, O God. Renew within me a steadfast spirit. The Lord is constantly pouring out grace into our lives. He's looking for opportunities to draw us into an encounter with Him. And so I think if we can start to incorporate these little prayers throughout our lives, whether it's as formal as incorporating the Hail Mary, or really trying to rededicate ourselves to a regular praying of the Rosary, or maybe it's praying with these Psalms, create within me a clean heart, O God. I don't want to gossip. How lovely is your dwelling place, Lord God of hosts. Don't allow us to lust or be frustrated with that person. These little prayers can allow the Lord that shimmer of an opportunity that He needs, just that little entry point where we can say, oh Lord, you are here. Because those little points of grace are everywhere, and He's trying to pour out that grace to transform us from the inside out. He is always, at every time and every place, drawing near to us and loving us. And so my hope for you today, my prayer for you today, is that we can start to incorporate these things into our lives so as to avail ourselves to the grace that the Lord is constantly trying to give. God bless you.